Hello lovely people, I am really excited about this week's video.
This
week I'm taking part in Steve from the Lawn Gnomes 10 for 12 series. 10 for 12 is a series that Steve has been doing for a while. I will include a link to his playlist below so that you can watch all of his videos. I highly recommend checking them out. Steve is just like, if I had one word to describe his videos, it would just be like enthusiasm. Like whenever he reviews films, stuff like this, he has such infectious enthusiasm and love for like the medium that it always makes me want to go out and like watch and consume everything. So I'll include a link to his channel below. What is happening today is that Steve has gathered some booktubers and we are all taking part in his 10 for 12 series, and this video's topic is 10 books that I read because of BookTube. I am also going to link to everyone who is taking part in this, their channels all below, so you can go watch all of their videos as well. My plan for this is in this spirit of like spreading BookTube love, etc. The 10 books I've picked, I have also tried to remember specific booktubers that are the reason why I've read them, and I will also, oh my god, my description's going to be ginormous, because I will also be including links to all of their channels down below. So hopefully this is just like a nice way to spread some like booktubey little friendships and love. With all of that waffle done, I'm just gonna like dive into my list. This is in no particular order. I just had a little thought, wrote some stuff down, tried to remember why I read these books. So I'm gonna start with Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. When this book came out, there was a lot of hype on BookTube. I have been aware of the existence of this book thanks to BookTube for a while. It's like a dystopian, kind of sci-fi, kind of, don't know if I would necessarily describe it as science fiction, but there's a disaster. A deadly virus outbreaks. Humanity as we know it is destroyed. We're looking at the survivors as they try and find their way in the world. But specifically, the person who made me actually buy this and read it is Meg from Tome Infinity. Meg runs the Tome Infinity Science Fiction Readathon. Read along, I don't know which is the right word. But I took part in it for the first time in January this year. I had a great time, and there were lots of different prompts, and as we were discussing different prompts on the little Goodreads group, she recommended this book for one of them, and I thought, hey, this could be my moment. And it was my moment, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So thank you, Meg. Next up is the Katherine Arden's The Winterknight trilogy. This is The Bear and the Nightingale. This is a Russian history, Russian folk tale inspired. I would describe these as like adult fantasy, sort of, not YA, but suffice to say, gorgeous Russian folk tale-y trilogy. It's great. I specifically picked this up because of Jen Campbell, who is like a force for wonderment on the entire BookTube universe, but she tends to like fairy tale stuff, which I also like. I vividly remember her talking about it in a book haul, and I was like, that seems like my cup of tea. So she is the reason why I picked up this trilogy, and I loved it. Trilogy got better as it went on. I gave the first one 5 stars, so like, I didn't dislike the first one, but by the final one I was like, we have gone places, and they were great. After that is The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzi Lee. This is a young adult look at Monty is going on his grand tour. It's sort of set during Regency era, with his best friend Percy, who he also is desperately in love with, and his sister Felicity, who is a badass babe. And then, like, some riots ensue, and we go to Venice, we meet pirates, loads of stuff happens. It's a really good time. And I read this because of Problems of a Book Nerd, who is one of my favourite booktubers. I specifically love Cece's channel because it is a great place to go to if you want recommendations for LGBTQ+ books to read, which I always do, and she always delivers, and it's great. And she's very engaging, so highly recommend. Next up is The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien, which we all know, probably. I've been super intimidated to read this. Spoiler alert, I loved it. So this is one of the books that I set myself to read at the start of this year. I always set myself 10 books. But specifically, one of the reasons that spurred me on to actually pick it up is I'm pretty sure Josh at Beards and Books either was reading one of them and I was like watching his progress on Goodreads, or talked about it in a video or something, but it made me go, ah yes, I should face my fear. I should read Lord of the Rings. So that was great. After that, I'm going to repeat a booktuber, because H is for Hawk by Helen Macdonald I also picked up because of Jen Campbell. This is a non-fiction memoir about a woman who, in the wake of losing her father, tries to train a gosh orc, and it's all about hawking, and there's also like running through it this thread of like T.H. White, the author, and some stuff about his life and his relationship with hawking and stuff like this. It sort of kicked off my interest in like nature writing and stuff like that. It's a really great non-fiction read, and Jen Campbell talked about it and like talked about how like great I do this because like that's where it gets me in the chest. So yay for Jen Campbell. Okay, whew, I feel like I'm trying to like go through them with enough pace, and now I'm like flustered. Following on from that is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. This is part of the first book in the Wayfarers trilogy. Again, this is another one which all of BookTube has been raving about for ages, and I get why. I think there are two booktubers who inspired me to pick them up, and that's Sable Court and Lilypad, both of whom have a very interesting taste in books, and whenever they talk about things, they just have such an engaging way of like talking about books that I'm like, now I want to read all of these books, and this is one which I picked up because of them, and I have not regretted it. Moving on, there is Good as You by Paul Flynn, with the subtitle From Prejudice to Pride, 30 Years of Gay Britain. I picked this up because of Rowan Ellis, who I don't know if she really counts as like a booktuber, but she is a YouTuber, so I included her anyway. Rowan Ellis is really incredible. She makes great content. I love her channel. And she did a video all about 5 things she didn't know before she read this book, and I found that really interesting. So then I picked up the book, got it for my birthday when it was a nice shiny hardback, and this was sort of looking at like tracing gay history, specifically like this mainly focuses on gay men, but it's sort of looking at it through like a pop culture lens, and each chapter has like a different theme to it. It was really interesting, a bunch of stuff that I'd never really thought about before. Thoroughly recommend. Okay, I think I'm on number 8, and that is Mhairi McFarlane, It's Not You, It's Me. No, that's the wrong way around. It's not me, it's you. Sorry. I picked this up because of Lena at, Lena Norms, formerly Kiss My Frog, who is a big name in the booktube world. She's cracking. I don't read a lot of romance books. Every now and then I want to, and this sort of reminded me a bit like, a little bit Bridget Jonesy, a little bit just like a fun romance read, and sometimes I want that, and this has some nice character and personality in it, so that was fun. Thanks, Lena. Oh, rambling. Okay, penultimate book is Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen, which I picked up because of Crystal Marsh, who I don't think has posted a video for a while, but I would really recommend you go and you watch all of her back catalogue, because she is so intelligent. She speaks about books in such a delightful way. She is one of my favourite booktubers, and I hope she's having a great time living her life, because she's so great. So I've been reading Jane Austen on and off for a few years, wanting to get into her, because I discovered that I actually really like her work. And I wasn't sure where to go next with her. I'd read Pride and Prejudice and Emma, and I was like, where do I go from here? And then she posted, really conveniently at a fortuitous moment, talking about how much she'd loved Northanger Abbey and how fun it was and that sort of thing. So I was like, hey, I'll just go to Northanger Abbey next. And I absolutely loved it. It was really different because it's like kind of playing on like notions of Gothic, and I just felt like there was like some real humour here, which like Jane Austen, like I like that. And it was really great. I had a great time. Okay. I feel like this has been a real ramble. Everyone else's videos are probably much more concise, but hey, this is my style. My final book is I Capture the Castle by Dodie Smith, which I picked up because of a frolic through fiction. I had literally, it was like one of the first of Ashley's videos I watched or something. She was talking about how she just read I Capture the Castle and how much she liked it and stuff, and then like I had literally just picked it up from like a charity shop or something, and I was like, this is my moment. So I read it, and I did really enjoy it. It was really fun. That is my 10 for 12. I feel like we went a little bit rambly, but that's just because of the sheer enthusiasm. Okay, I will reiterate. Check out Steve's channel. Check out all the people who are also doing this channel. Check out everyone I've mentioned. Maybe even check out some of these books. I'm asking a lot from you, but I believe in you. I'm going to call it a day. I will see you next week for something different, and I hope you're having a really lovely time.